Hello, if you're new here, nice to meet you. If you're not new, hello again. Today I wanted to quickly record a video talking about how I edit my videos. And this isn't just how I edit my videos, this is like about my gear, what software I use, where I get my music, and yeah, I want to do like a little run through of how I edit, just how I kind of streamline the process. Again, quick disclaimer, I am not a professional. I literally have like 150 subscribers. I'm adequate at best, but that's okay. You don't have to be a professional to do this. And guess what? I'm learning every day, and I have already learned things that I didn't know before. And when I started using Premiere Pro, which is what I use, I didn't know anything. So I hope this video could be of some use to you, because when I was starting out, I literally struggled to find resources for Premiere Pro. I guess kind of like in my style. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for the introduction. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, you definitely can. You don't have to if you don't want to. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to jump into how I edit my videos. So just to start things off, number one, let's start with gear. When I first started making videos, I shot them all on my iPhone. And this was great to start with. I loved using my iPhone, super easy. iPhones have amazing cameras. If you have a lot of storage and you have a lot of space, I recommend just starting with your iPhone because it has a really good camera. Some of the cons that I found with using my phone. Obviously, when I'm using my phone, I cannot use my phone for other things. So that was kind of difficult. Sometimes I would need my phone for something and I would be on like filming myself on my phone. So there was kind of a, yeah. Anyways, the other thing was storage. You only have so much, and again, you don't really want to use all of your storage sometimes for videos. So that was the problem that I was running into, but to start out with, it was really great. For a starting thing, I really like my iPhone. I literally just switched to an actual camera for the first time 4 months ago, and it was the best decision I ever made, and here is why. So I have the Canon G7X Mark II, and I think it was about $500, could have been more than that after tax. I got it from Best Buy. The reason why I chose this camera, there was multiple reasons. Number one, it's really small, it's compact. That was one of the main things that I was looking for, something that I could take with me places, something I could vlog with. This is super compact, I can literally put it in my bag, and it's just, I think the quality for the price and the size and is just really good. Number 3, 4, I don't know, am I even numbering? I don't even know if I started numbering. Another reason why I really like this camera is because it has a flip screen. Again, not all cameras have flip screens. You know, of course, when you shoot on an iPhone, you can see yourself if you're shooting with the front camera. But again, I found the front camera to be kind of worse quality than the back camera. So if I ever wanted to use the back camera, I couldn't really see myself. There's ways around that, of course, but I don't want to deal with it. So I really like having a flip screen. That was one of the things that I wanted the most, was because I can literally just see myself, and if I'm in the shot, what's in the shot, if it's focused, all of that. So that is why I got this camera, and I've really enjoyed it. Another thing that I use literally all the time is an external hard drive. I have the Lacy 2 terabyte external hard drive. The reason why I have this, again, is just for storage, for space. When you are making videos constantly and you have a bunch of clips, your computer is going to run out of storage, or it's going to run really slow if you have a lot of those clips stored on your computer. You're going to want to have somewhere to put them all. Like your old videos that you don't want to keep on your computer anymore, all of those things can be moved to your external hard drive. This one was about $100, But again, I highly recommend if you are going to be making a lot of videos, you don't want that slowing down your computer. You don't want it sounding like it's going to rocket launch itself into space. Now let's move on to software. I use Adobe. I can never tell if this is in focus. It's like, I feel like my eyes are just blurry and I don't know if it's in focus. Okay. I use Premiere Pro, which is a part of the Adobe Creative Suite. A couple of reasons why I use this. Number one, I minored in graphic design in school, so I had an Adobe membership, and I still do, like a subscription. I had the student subscription, which allows you to have access to pretty much, every Adobe application, like Illustrator, Photoshop, Lightroom, like all of those, InDesign. Those are the things that I used in graphic design all the time. And of course, Premiere Pro is part of that. When you have the student account, the first year is $19.99, and then every year after that is $29.99. So that is what I'm currently using. They also have regular subscriptions if you're not a student. They have business subscriptions. They have just the individual application subscriptions if you just want to subscribe to Premiere Pro or Photoshop or InDesign. But I find a lot of the apps really useful, and if you're into being creative and designing and anything like that, that might be the better route for you, to just get the full subscription. It just depends on where you're at, what's best for you. The other way is if you want to go the other route. A lot of people use Final Cut Pro. Again, at the time, I believe Final Cut Pro is around $200, just so you buy it outright. At the time, I didn't have the money to buy it outright, and I was already paying for Adobe subscription, so I found it just easier for me to learn Premiere Pro. But yeah, if you aren't necessarily into like Adobe products, then maybe you want to get Final Cut Pro. One-time thing, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll switch to Final Cut Pro. We'll see what happens. Right now I'm still under the student subscription. So yeah, we'll just see where life takes us, but that is the software that I use. As far as music goes, there's a couple places that you can get copyright-free music. I'm not too familiar with a lot of them. The only ones that I have used, Epidemic Sound is one that I've used, but you do have to pay for that. I believe it's like $20 a month, and I honestly, like, I don't know if I just like used it at the wrong time, but at the time there wasn't a lot of music on there that I was a fan of and that like fit my vibe. I'm not sure. And I just didn't want to pay for another subscription, so I was like, whatever. And I found Thematic, which is what I use currently, and Thematic is free. Yes, you heard that right, free. And all you have to do is link your channel to your account and literally just download whatever music you want. And it saves all of your downloads in your little download section. All you have to do is make sure to credit the artist and the song and everything in your description of the video, and it's copyright free music. Yeah, they have on your downloads page, they have a little section where you can copy the link. You can literally just click it, it copies it for you, and that is what you put in the description of your YouTube videos, and that is how you do not get copyrighted. And again, I really like the music, and if you're ever interested in the music I use, again, it's in the descriptions. You can literally click the link and it takes you right to what music I used in the video, and it's super helpful, and I really like Thematic. So if you want something for free, you can do that. So I think, so I think that is kind of the basic information that I wanted to touch on. I have a video to edit now, and I thought maybe I would just take you through that process and do a voiceover of everything that I do. Again, disclaimer, I am not a professional. This is just what I do. I'm sure there are easier ways to do the things that I do. I am very much a basic one when it comes to editing, and I'm very much still learning a lot of things. Yeah, so just take that with a grain of salt. If you are an extra supreme professional, feel free to leave any tips down below if you see that I'm doing something that could be made a lot easier or anything like that. So without further ado, here is how I edit my video. Alright guys, I'm still pretty bad at voiceovers, so just bear with me. The first thing I do is I start a new project whenever I open up Premiere Pro. Pretty self-explanatory. I just go ahead and name it, hit OK, and it'll bring you to just a regular view of the Premiere Pro setup. You have your timeline at the bottom, effects to the right. Typically, the very first thing that I do is I just go ahead and import all of the clips that I will be working with for the video. Even if I'm not sure if I want to keep them, I just pretty much drag and drop everything into my timeline. Okay, now is whenever I go through and I cut all the pieces that I don't want, where I'm like mumbling or anything like that, and just cut it down. And this little skinny column to the left of the timeline is where you're going to find all of your tools. Certain tools where you can push the entire timeline back. You can just use the regular selector tool to select certain clips, and the cutter tool that you can literally just click and cut clips that you want to delete. After that, you can go back to the selection tool and you can delete those. You can easily toggle between the cut and the selection tool by clicking C for cut or V for the selection tool on your keypad, which is what I do, or keyboard, whatever it's called. Now, the volume of clips is something that I have struggled with. Typically, what I do is I will double click the audio section of a clip or music or whatever, and I will change the audio gain, and you can either subtract or add audio gain, and that's how I change the volume of my clips and get it to a place that I like it. If clip's too loud, if the music's too loud, or if I want to lower the music, things like that, you can just play around with audio gain. But I don't know if there's an easier way to do that. Okay, so the very next step that I usually do is I add the symbol effects that I want to add, which again, the effects panel is just up at the top right. I do a lot of horizontal flipping because I like my face to be not inverted. That's just my personal opinion. You probably don't know the difference, but I personally like to flip the clips because I think I look more normal. Usually I just go ahead and add the end card at the very end that I made on my iPad in Procreate, and this is where at the end of the video usually there's like a little subscribe icon and video recommendations. I typically like to add the introduction next, like a little intro montage. And how I usually go about this is I just go ahead and click the tool that allows you to scoot the entire timeline back, and I will just copy clips throughout the video that I think will look good in the introduction, kind of introducing what's going to be in the video, what the video is about, just kind of short and simple clips. Once I find a clip that I like, what I do is I hold down the Alt Option button while I click and drag on the video, and that's just going to create a copy where it leaves the original in the timeline, and it creates a copy that you can move to the very front for your introduction. And I just do that with multiple clips until I'm happy with what I have. So once I'm happy with the intro and pretty much have all of my timeline cut how I like it, I will usually go ahead and add transitions next. Just kind of simple transitions. If you go down to video transitions, the iris round is one that I really like to use. And as you can see, I'll just drag that to the very front, and you can see how it affects the video and how it works. That's what it looks like. I think it's really cute, and it fits the vibe of my videos. Something that I don't mess with too often is adjustment layers. I really want to learn how to use them better, but pretty much you just go down to this little icon here, you can click adjustment layer, you can add an adjustment layer, and what that allows you to do is place this adjustment layer on top of your videos if you want to change an aspect of your videos, but you don't want it to be permanently on the videos, if that makes any sense. For instance, a filter. you can easily add a filter to the adjustment layer or like color correcting to the adjustment layer, and that helps create like a unified color correction across the whole video. You can go up here to the presets and things like that and literally drag and drop certain things that are already made if you want. I really haven't messed around with it too much, but if you're looking for something like that, you might want to mess around with it and see what you can do. And here's me just dropping random presets onto the adjustment layer to see how it affects my video, but I ended up taking the adjustment layer off because I didn't feel like I needed it for this video. It's very plain and simple. Okay, when I get to this point, I typically go through and add my text that I want to add, like little titles and things like that to different sections, or the titles of the video, or just anything that I want to add. You can go ahead and just click the little text thingy icon and you can drag and drop a box and literally just type whatever you want. I'm so good at explaining things. And then you can highlight it in the editing panel. That's where you can go and change the characteristics like the size, the font, whatever. I'm really liking this arabesque one. And again, it'll pop up on the timeline like this. You can edit how long it goes for, things like that. Another thing you can do is add effects to text. I've been really liking adding wave warp, which is under distort, which is under video effects, from the effects panel onto my text. You just drag and drop it. And in the editing panel, that's where you can find the properties of the wave warp, and you can change things like the speed, the wave height, the wave width, and you can just play around with that and see how it affects the text and get it a way that you like. Once I'm happy with the way my timeline looks, how long my video is, how everything is put together, that is when I go through and add my music. And like I said previously, I use Thematic and I just download music that I like. In my downloads, I usually just will drag the music into another audio lane. I don't know if that's the correct term. Now, in the effects panel, there are audio effects such as exponential fade. That's the one that I use the most. And it really just helps ease the music in and out, so you're not just immediately cutting to like loud music. It helps like slowly increase the volume of the music. And as I'm showing you here, I'm just doing the intro part, and I will do the exponential fade at the beginning and the end of the intro, because that music is going to be louder than the music that comes after it. And I will just adjust maybe just a little bit how loud the music is here, and then yeah, you kind of just get that slow fade into the song. Okay, now that everything is done, I will go ahead and go to export my media. I will rename it and export it and upload it to YouTube. This was a pretty simple edit, not too crazy. I just wanted to keep it kind of simple for this video, but if you're ever interested in different things like making kind of film borders, things like that, it's pretty easy to YouTube. You can look them up and find people that make them, but I can also do another video on that if you're interested, kind of like the vintage V8 video effect. Is it V8? No, it's 8. I'm literally thinking of the V8 energy drinks. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys next week. Bye.